What is up, everybody? This is Anthony with the VR Game Rankings YouTube channel. We are live. It is noon. It is Saturday. What is the latest, bro? I am double checking and making sure that my live stream is operational. I need to change this to episode 188. Yeah, so we're good. It's all good. Okay, so, here's the big thing of the day, right? What is today? Today is September 1st. Ladies and gentlemen, it is September 1st, 2018. And what do we do when it's the first of the month? I hope everybody did this. Early in the morning, of course. Man, I got to resize my rabbits. Rabbits. So did everybody do this morning? Rabbit. That's what you're supposed to do. The very second you wake up, when it is the first of the month, you say rabbit. And if you did it, you might as well just go back to sleep until October 1st and forget about it, because you're going to have a terrible month. Actually, I don't believe in any kind of superstitious stuff anymore. But for some reason, I got caught up in doing this rabbit thing a number of years back. And I've just stuck with it. So rabbit. I can tell you this morning, I was laying in bed. It was 7:35 a.m. or something. I'm laying in bed and I remembered rabbit. And I whispered it. Rabbit. Okay, so that is rabbit. The other big news of the day, if I can find it here, is there is this footage out there, Stormland, and this is why I had to resize rabbit, because this is 720p. A lot of times what I like to do, if possible, is grab these 720p videos, re-render them at 1080p so I don't have to resize anything. And also, I kind of wanted to go through this video and just cut out certain segments that I was interested in, but didn't get a chance to do that. So anyway, this is Insomniac, and this is Stormland, which is quite possibly my single most wanted VR game that is currently out there that is unknown. Like, we don't know about Portal VR. We don't know, in terms of like guaranteed VR games, Stormland by Insomniac for the Oculus Rift happens to be my number one most wanted game. If every VR game was laying on a table and I could pick them up and I could take one game away with me, it would be Stormland. Stormland would be the game, and this is like 45 minutes of gameplay footage. I'm going to let this just run in the background for a minute here. And we'll check some news headlines and stuff like that. Let's see what's going up in chat. Paradise Decay is here early. What is up, Paradise? You are here early. IPCSK is checking in. Phil Yarn, Sponge 720, and the question for Sponge 720, does that relate to the Xbox 720? Remember way back before it became Xbox One, people were like, dude, it's going to be Xbox 720. So were you Sponge 720, number one Xbox fan? Christian Jensen is in the building. VR Spry Guy, what is up? Logan 68, named after Logan's Run, of course. VR Spry Guy, Noah. Oh, Noah's checking in. Magic Leap Guy. And Scion VR, T-Dub. Fluke is saying, as a Brit, saying rabbit just reminds me of Chas and Dave. Push the Button is saying, hey, what is up, everybody? And Noah got his rabbit in. If you're the first person in your house that said that, you get the luck. So that's all that matters. And some houses, you got people straight up competing with each other. Let's take a little bit of a look at this Stormland gameplay. The video quality is really quite horrible, but we can get a look at the gameplay. Let's check this out just for a minute, see what's going on.
So this demo is made to show off the promise of Stormland. Is a small snippet of the game. There's much more coming. Shout out to Remaster Resistance. That's who I'm going to shout out.
This is amazing. I like those particle effects. It's like the Unspoken, except
what controller is that? That is the
subtle.
touch controller.
actually can't hear you at all, Viddy, just in case you are talking to me.
Now I can actually hear her and myself.
I can't hear this at all either.
You can't hear the rift?
I can't hear the guy talking to me.
Oh, because the volume's low on her inner headphones. Can you turn up the Oculus volume?
Can I what?
From the Oculus menu, can you turn up the volume a little bit?
That's what happens when you do a live thing of any sort. It can always go to hell and doesn't present itself too well. This is a Facebook video. These videos are not the easiest to get your hands on. IPCSK says that environment looks cool. It's hard to tell from this video because the quality is really quite bad. It's kind of unfortunate for Insomniac that their game would not necessarily be portrayed in the best possible light. You would like direct feed video, crystal clear, 1080p dialed in so you can kind of get a look at what the game looks like. It looks like, I don't know, is it having some hitching problems because the video stopped, but she's still moving around there. But anyway, that is Stormland. I'll just let that play in the background for a minute here. I just wanted to double check and see if there were any major stories that were going on any of the subreddits, any late breaking information. One sec here. And so I'll start off on the Vive subreddit and BeatSaber.com, sort Beat Saber songs by genre, not that big of a deal. MRTV interview, Pimax introduces new Pimax 5K Plus. So this is MRTV. Apparently Pimax has introduced a new version of the Pimax 5K. Improved panel, higher PPI. Both versions will be sold, original 5K and 5K Plus. 5K Plus will be more expensive. Current 5K backers will directly receive 5K Plus without having to pay anything extra. 8K users can switch to 5K Plus. People who miss Kickstarter. Pre-orders start in October. Ships after last backer has received their headset. Targeted shipping start early 2019. Remember, Vive owners only need to buy the headset. Okay. And yeah, nothing really big going on over here. Checking the Vive subreddit. Okay, well, you know what? It is the 1st of September. And I figured, considering it's the 1st of September... Oh, there's a Stormland video by Cass and Chari. Let me see if I can find that. I'll start downloading that, and then I'll... Cass and Chari. See if I can find that real quick, and then what I'll do here is go to my other story while that's downloading. Let's see. Cass and Chari. These girls are all over the place. I think they're like in Seattle in PAX. I mean, these are just some lucky. There's some lucky devils that get to travel all over from different cities and whatnot. I mean, how nice is that? Especially coming from the UK and bouncing over to Seattle. I wonder if they had to foot their own bill to get there. But yeah, I'll go ahead and grab this trailer. And as I'm grabbing that, what we'll do here is let's get into the games of September. The games of September, there's a number of interesting games to talk about. So let's go ahead and run through them real quick. Ah, man, I got to resize this. This resizing thing is really an irritation. Whoops. If a video isn't 720p, I got to resize it. And then if my video is 720p, I got to rewind it. So here we go. And let's go ahead and redo this live show, ladies and gentlebots. Okay, so this is the VR Game Rankings, VR games coming this September breakdown. I took a look at all of the biggest games that are coming in the month of September, and let's start it off. September 4th, we'll see the arrival of Zone of the Enders, the second runner Mars, say that 10 times with a pickle in your mouth, And this is coming September 4th. It is $29.99. It is coming to Steam for the Vive and Rift, I suppose. And it is also coming to PlayStation VR. Zone of the Enders Second Runner. Let's take a look at a little bit of a trailer. That is Second Runner. Now, on September 7th, if you are a Vive owner and you've never played virtual reality, this is coming out this September 7th. It's not big news for Oculus Rift players, but for Vive players, I think this is one to keep an eye on. I really love the humor of this game. I know it does get repetitive. Let's check this out.
Realities of AI clients. Simply put on and remove different virtual labor access points to jump into realities.
Importance of beauty, but given how short your life,
there are things to do. Humans do it best. Patterns, desires, decisions chosen at whim.
Especially satisfying.
I love that part. That's my favorite.
Let's do another one.
The voice of that damn
How
plant.
about another headset? How about another headset?
On September 13th, let's see what is coming out on September 13th. We've got Chiaro and the Elixir of Life. Chiaro, and the Elixir of Life. This one, I believe this game was like Kickstarted or something. We didn't even have a date for it. And then all of a sudden, bam, September 13th. Here's the trailer. Let's check it out. Looks pretty dope just from that. That is September 13th. September 18th, this is when a lot of heat really arrives all at the same time. Downward Spiral, Oris Station. We've already had it on the Vive and the Rift, but now it is coming to PlayStation VR. And here we have Unearthing Mars 2, The Ancient War, also coming on September 18th to PlayStation VR. Winking Entertainment is a developer on that one.
And I've thought about it every single day.
Co-pilot, are you okay?
It's not the same without Catherine.
Then let's begin. Activate.
How many people die in this war? Why are we the ones who must perish?
Because I understand. Don't stop moving. Let's
All right, Blind is also coming on September 18th. We saw this on the Oculus Store, and it should be coming on Steam and PSVR as
What do
well.
you want from me? Where's Scott? Who are you?
Take that.
What is it?
It'll help you find your way until you get your sight back. If you don't use it, you'll be left in the dark. And if you stay in the dark, you won't be able to...
To do what?
get out, Jean.
I want to get out!
Leave me alone. I don't want your pity. Get out!
Do you think it's easy for me? I gave up everything.
You get bored, don't you? Staying here.
Scott! Scott, is that you? Where are you?
You still don't understand, Jean. It's just you and me here.
Please, I don't want to see anything else.
It's for your own good, Jean.
That is September 18th, at least on Oculus, we know. And of course, this is probably the biggest one of September, period. You got Transference. It is coming on September 18th. $24.99, 25 bucks.
This rig's a bit cumbersome, but that's always the way with these new prototypes, huh? And all you have to do is just be. I know things haven't been so great lately, okay? I do. Big Ben. I've been a lousy father, huh? Unable. Lousy husband, too.
You should go to sleep.
You've seen how rotten that's gotten, huh? But all that is gonna change. We're all gonna be together. All of our hard work, reverse the process. All of our sacrifices. That's my gift to you. Us.
Help me! Help me! Please!
Dad? Why are you doing this?
I love you, son.
And on September 21st, we got to remember this one, Jet Island. This is the one that is kind of coming out of nowhere. Could be the surprise hit of late September by Master Indie. This one looks pretty cool. That is Jet Island on September 21st. And of course, last but not least, on September 25th, we do have Creed Rise to Glory. We don't have a price on that yet, do we? Probably $29.99 would be my guess.
You ready for this?
In the blue corner, Adonis Hollywood Creed!
Alrighty, so basically, if you look at all of these games that are going to be available in the month of September, these are the games that we know of. These are locked in stone. These are definitely coming. Of this list of games, which one do you think you are most hyped for in terms of all these different games? We do got Zone of the Enders is going to kind of start it off. Virtual Reality, if you've never played that, is going to follow it up. And then you got the Chihiro and the Elixir of Life. That looks pretty freaking cool. So, and then there's a lot of stuff on the 18th, and there's other games as well that are definitely going to leak out throughout the month. There's going to be additional games that slide out. Noah says Transference looked cool, and I got to tell you, Transference is my single most wanted game of September. It's not even close. I might actually have to say Jet Island jumps in at number 2 just because I think the fun factor might be there with Jet Island. This game right here, Zone of the Enders for $30. Nah, I am not going to touch this game. I know there's a demo, and I should check out the demo. I don't know why I haven't checked out the demo yet. But Zone of the Enders for $30, that is definitely one I will bypass unless people are just ranting and raving about Zone of the Enders. Now in chat, a lot of people are saying Creed. Logan68 says Creed is going to be his game of the month. VR Spry Guy says definitely Creed. T-Dub is saying Creed is 20 pounds in the UK. Cedric Harris 12 says Creed, it's not even close, and maybe $26, maybe $25.99 will be the price of Creed in the USA. I believe, you can pre-order Creed, right? I thought pre-orders have started. Let me see if I can look up Creed on the PlayStation Store. They'll have the price. And it might be like $25.99 or something like that. Creed Rise to Glory. It's actually $29.99. I'm looking at it at the PlayStation Store, and it says $29.99. It does say PS PlayStation Plus members $26.99. So $27 if you have PS Plus, and $30 if you don't have PS Plus. That is on the PlayStation Store for Creed, which makes sense because $10 is going to MGM. So, I mean, that's the problem that you deal with. $10 is going to MGM, so it probably could have been a $19.99 game, but they have to give that $10. I'm looking at Creed on Steam, and yeah, you can pre-order it for $27. It has a 10% discount, but the standard price technically is $30. So Creed, not exactly a dirt cheap game, but it does look really good. It has been very impressive in demos. VR Spry Guy says, I tried Zone of the Enders demo. It's not bad, but just not my thing. Yeah, it looked kind of chaotic, and it's just, you got a third-person view, and it just, I don't know. I think for $15, if it was half that price, $30, Konami has a name for itself, and people just love Konami. There's some people that are going to buy Zone of the Enders just because of the Konami factor. This Unearthing Mars 2, this is kind of a bit of a sleeper game, especially if you have an aimed controller and you have PSVR. Like, this one looks like a legitimate production here. I know Unearthing Mars was not very celebrated, but this one looks a little bit more advanced, and it looks to really take advantage of the aim controller. You can see, though, when you see the real graphics, not exactly super impressive there. This is going to be running on PSVR, and that is Unearthing Mars 2. This is certainly a dark horse of the month. Like, I don't think anybody is banking on this game being the best game of September. Nobody is banking on Chiaro and the Elixir of Life being the best game of September. But they're dark horses. They could come out of nowhere and really do something. My question, though, for everybody out there, so everybody hasn't answered. We've gotten answers from a number of people that have said Creed is their game. And maybe a couple people said Transference was... Okay, Paradise is saying Transference. But I need the rest of you guys to vote in. Okay, yeah, Creed looks the best of the bunch for me. That's Fluke. He has not played the Transference demo, though. And the Transference demo on PSVR, honestly, if anything, it might lower your expectations for Transference because it doesn't look that incredible on PSVR. I have a feeling, though, in an Oculus Rift or an HTC Vive with the higher end power of the PC, I think Transference is going to look really good. And I think it's doing certain things that kind of remind me of Pixel Ripped 1989 in terms of there's certain things that VR does really well. And here's Blind. What about Blind? Noah's saying Blind also looks crazy cool. Yeah, we're all kind of sleeping on Blind. Although I gotta say, the trailer is pretty freaking boring. And then the God Ray question, if you have an Oculus Rift or an HTC Vive, God Rays are a freaking issue. Now, PSVR, God Rays are definitely less, you don't deal with them as much. But we did play a black and white game on the Oculus Rift with Wilson's Heart, and so this is kind of black and white. Transference, man, this is my game. I like the way it goes, and it changes, like it pixelates the whole entire environment. Watch, I'll show you what I'm talking about here. And it definitely does have the Stranger Things vibe. It's got nice use of color. This wasn't incredibly compelling on PSVR, though, because of the resolution, the Vaseline effect, the shimmering effect. But screens and little digital indicators, the lighting, these windows that are popping up and flickering in and out, that's probably going to look very good on an HTC Vive Pro or a Samsung Odyssey Plus or the Acer Oho 500 or Star VR, but that part right there where it goes, and it's changing the entire world around you. That is the cool stuff that we can do in VR. So Noah, I've got a question for you. I know you're the Magic Leap guy, but when are you going to grab one of these VR headsets and see what we're talking about here in VR? Because I think if you saw, what would be the game that Noah should see to let him know what VR can do? And for me, it's kind of Pixel Ripped 1989. If you got to the part in Pixel Ripped 1989 where this classic old school Game Boy game leaks out into the reality that your character is within, to me, that is that's what I'm hoping for from Magic Leap. With Magic Leap, I want to sit on my sofa and have my coffee table right there, and I'm playing Mario on my coffee table, and he's jumping over my coffee cup, and he's climbing up a soda can or something like that. And that's what I want from something like Magic Leap. And I think Pixel Rip 1989, it kind of gives us a tease of that. Or even something like Blaze Rush. Just when you have that track that is wrapping around you, Blaze Rush on the Oculus Go or the Oculus Rift, better on the Rift, having that track just wrap right in front of you. I've said it a million times that when I see things in VR that are right in front of me, that are detailed, that are animating well, it's basically holograms, it's basically holograms. Now, do I see my real world everywhere? Do I see my dog and my cat? Am I making eye contact with anybody? No, I'm not. But in that little VR reality, it's like we have legit holograms. And that's why, Noah, I believe if you got yourself any of these VR headsets, if you got a PSVR with a PlayStation 4, if you got one of the Windows mixed reality ones, but the problem is you need a PC too. So goddamn, it is a buy. I'm guessing, Noah, you don't have a gaming PC that you can use. Do you have a PlayStation 4? That's my question. But yeah, so all of these games do look good. That's Chris is saying, I think all of them look good, to be honest. Yeah, it looks like we're going to have a pretty decent September here. Creed looks pretty good. I'm certainly excited for Creed, but Transference is my game. It's not even a question in my mind. The worry I have, the concern I have with Transference is really the price, because it's only $24, and that immediately tells me this is 2 or 3 hours. It's got to be crazy short to be $25 for Transference. That's my game. What is my second most wanted game? Is it Creed? Is it Jet Island? Man, is it Unearthing Mars 2? Is it Blind? There's a lot of different options here. So it is a pretty cool month that we have going on. And virtual reality. What about you guys? Those of you that have played virtual reality, what do you think about that game? Because I got to tell you, if you like the comedy of Portal and you want to know what the comedy of Portal would be like in VR, I think virtual reality is that kind of comedy. It's really hilarious. it's just it's really the voiceover work. You go to all these different rooms. This is September 7th. This is what I'm talking about right here. This is virtual reality. And I got to tell you that going to all these different little rooms, that one especially, where you're talking to this plant and he has the most whimsical voice and attitude, it is just, it's hilarious. There's just some really good parts of this. And just, you keep putting on these different VR. It's like VR within VR within VR within VR, a million different color palettes that they use. That the interiors look way different, very simplistic. This part right here was the best, the pinwheel. Oh my God, the pinwheel part was the best. But I've heard like I believe MameFan was talking about virtual reality. He's like, nah, I don't get virtual reality. I don't see what you like in it. He says it's like repetitive, right? I don't know if MameFan is still in chat right now. But some people don't like virtual reality. Here's a dark horse. Chiaro and the Elixir of Life is definitely a dark horse. VRium says, is Oculus Studio still launching a new game every month? It's been a long time since that has been the case. They haven't really had month. Now, they've done some good things. They did do Marvel Powers United VR, and I don't know if Oculus was the one that published Red Matter. So they have brought out some great games, but spaced out. We haven't got every single month a major banger, and it's kind of surprising because, ladies and gentlemen, the NFL is about to start, right? Everybody is going back to school. Everybody is in college. Everybody is back at high school and all the different schools and whatnot. And the fall TV shows are about to start kicking up. This is the fall season, September, October, November, December. These are the big months. So you could ask that question and you can say, well, hey, where is Oculus? What is the big game of the month for September? And why doesn't Oculus have the big game of the month for September? Ray Pope says, man, you got to try the Invisible Hours. Not a game, but so works in VR. Well, let me tell you, Ray Pope, Invisible Hours is a game. It's not a game. Invisible Hours is not a game. Invisible Hours, however, is the first VR movie. It is basically the first VR movie, and there's just no question about it. Let me see if I have an Invisible Hours trailer somewhere on my PC. And man, I don't have an Invisible Hours trailer, but Invisible Hours, I have nothing but love for Invisible Hours. That is the first VR movie. And I really believe that Tequila Works and Game Trust, they made a mistake advertising it as a game. I think they advertised Invisible Hours as a game because they thought, well, that's how we can get the most money for it. If we say, hey, everybody, this is the first VR movie, this is the beginning of location-based storytelling. This is the beginning of this new era in interactive movie watching. Basically, you're going to be a ghost, and stories are going to take place at locations. There's going to be multiple stories happening simultaneously, and our future medium in that is going to have replay value. We're going to be watching stuff like The Walking Dead, and there's going to be replay value because we could go to different areas where different things were going on, where we're viewing it like we're a ghost that is floating there, viewing the action. It is going to be absolutely phenomenal. It is going to be incredible. And I believe Invisible Hours is pretty much the first sample of what that looks like. And that is truly magical. There's no question about it. So yeah, Invisible Hours, I have much love for that. How much is it going for right now anyway? Can somebody look that up, Invisible Hours, how much that's being sold for right now? It's worth it, though. I really think it is worth it. Yeah, so let's see. The Invisible Hours. Let's take a look at the Accolade trailer. I'll grab that one where everybody's ranting and raving about it, which they should be raving about it. It is the first VR movie, period. It's a new genre. So let's see. What is everybody talking about in chat? Paradise says he loved virtual reality. Let's see. Chris says, I had virtual reality on my Oculus wishlist, but now I'm definitely getting the Steam version. Scion VR says, I think Oculus is focusing on releasing more AAA experiences. Yeah, more AAA, but less often, probably. I Am Rut says, yeah, Invisible Hours is tight. It is very tight. And Phil Yarn says, maybe Oculus is waiting for Connect 5. Actually, that's a very good point. That is a very good point. If Oculus has anything big, they're going to save it for Oculus Connect 5. So we're going to have an automatic delay until at least October for basically anything. And Cedric Harris 12, why do they not have No Man's Sky in VR yet? What the hell is going on here? And I can answer that question very simply. The question is, it will not run on a vanilla PlayStation 4. And Sony is trapped from the standpoint that Sony is in a situation. Let's take a look at this Invisible Hours. Let's take a look at this trailer.
Exactly 6.
There's someone out there, look!
A man did just die here.
But the show must go on, no?
Auf Programmets Frau verlässt Just let Mr. Tesla turn you away. Why would he do that?
Maybe somebody else got... No. Victor Monti tried to escape. That means he's guilty.
Are you in there, Tesla?
Yeah, that was a fantastic experience. It's not a game. There's no interactivity. You are a ghost, and you are viewing events that unfold, and you can go back in time, you can rewind time, you can go to a different area, and you can be a ghost. It's cartoon, it's cartoon animation. So like if they said, hey, everybody look, this is the first VR movie ever. This is like the first legit VR movie, but oh yeah, it's a cartoon that is running in a video game engine. So like Joe and Sally Walmart are going to be like, no, when they can do this with like real live actors, then wake me up. But right now, this is an animated movie, not my cup of tea. But that's what this is. This is an animated movie. And I believe the future of movies is going to be this location-based storytelling, that it's going to be wrapped around a location, wrapped around stories taking place simultaneously. You're going to have a replay value for movies. It's going to be incredible. It's going to be awesome. Looking forward to that future. Absolutely. Lethal Weasel VR says you can catch it for $10 all the time. And it's absolutely well worth owning, in my opinion, for $10. That is the Invisible Hours. Okay, I did grab that Cass and Chari video where they played Stormland. So let me see, where is their video? I know I grabbed it. Maybe it's this one. Okay, here it is. So let's listen in real quick.
Let's go. So I
Cass
think we're
and
just going
Chari.
through the tutorial.
Please test rotation control. Calibration.
Ooh, let's turn off quick nets. Don't like that one. Ooh. Oh my god. Full body. I'm a robot. This
I bet the inverse kinematics is a million times better than pros. Did anybody try pros? Inverse kinematics was just god awful. It looks like you can move really quickly, which is nice. And I know you straight up can fly, like you're just flying over the surface. So yeah, I mean the video quality on this one's a little bit, it's definitely a little bit better than that Facebook video that I grabbed. It's definitely cleaner. But anyway, we can have that play in the background a little bit. Let me go ahead and check and see what people are talking about in chat. VR Spry Guy at Ray Pope. I played Quinero for the first time yesterday. I wonder if they got the idea for the Invisible Hours from Quinero. Well, I'll tell you what, Quinero is basically like a detective game in VR. You're playing around with time. You're analyzing the scene Like, they could really do something incredible with Quinero. They could make a legit detective, like a really legit detective game with that Quinero idea. And Invisible Hours is similar to that, but you don't have any agency, really. I mean, you don't have much agency in Quinero either, but I just think Invisible Hours is more of a, it's a story. It's a story in VR that you can watch, and, it's not a game, but it's all good. Scion VR says you might see No Man's Sky in VR on PC, but not PlayStation VR. But the problem there is rights. I really believe that Sony, when Sony signed whatever deal they signed with No Man's Sky, they're going to put in 1 million extra clauses that if there's ever this, they have the exclusivity. If there's ever that, they have the exclusivity. They're going to put all these clauses in there because Sony is a gigantic, massive corporation, and the developer of No Man's Sky is just a tiny little company at this point, and they're going to have to accept Sony's terms. So maybe they could have a VR version on PC if they wanted to, but unfortunately, because of contracts, it might not happen. So I honestly would, look at the graphics right here. Now, this is what Daddy loves. Let's listen to this a little bit.
Nick?
Well, you can probably figure it out yourself over at the workbench.
Okay, let's figure this out ourselves.
Looks like Nick's created
See, I like sunlight. I like bright, vibrant stuff. One of the things that I really love in VR is, okay, give me the hand of a robot. I'm moving my robot hand around, right? I'm looking at my robot hand. It looks freaking incredibly real. I'm like, damn, that looks real. But what I do want to be able to do with my robot hand is be in the shade where it's really dark shade, move it into the sun, and have that look so freaking realistic. I can't wait till we have that. And it would be even cooler if you moved your hand into the sun, and the second you did that, you actually started feeling heat. Like, how freaking cool would that be? But I love vibrant environments. That's why Stormland is kind of made for me, because I will just be exploring every little nook and cranny, marveling at the environments, the textures and everything, and then picking up all these boxes, interacting with all this stuff.
Environment or resources. Tap the side of your visor to activate scan mode. Scan mode deactivates when movement resumes.
Oh. Okay, so I activated scan mode, and now I can see some alloy over there. So let's go there. Oh, nice. Very nice. Gold as well.
Yeah, graphically, it doesn't look like the game is like destroying everything ever. It looks good. I mean, we're basically seeing, okay, this is a regular video game. This is not the second coming. But I still think it's probably my most wanted VR game. I mean, I can't think of, like, what do you guys put ahead of this? Does anybody out there have a more wanted game than this? I mean, I'm sure some of you do. But Insomniac, this is like their 5th VR game. This is probably the most money, the largest budget they've ever had for any of their VR games. And they have that experience in VR. They have a passion for VR. I really believe Ted Price is a believer in VR. I think Ted Price probably is thinking the exact same way I'm thinking, from the standpoint that I believe virtual reality is like this unstoppable train that has left the station. It has left the station and it is going very, very slowly right now, but it's an unstoppable train. It's not going to be derailed. It is going to overpower everything eventually. It's just going to continue to gain more and more steam. And I think Ted Price agrees with this, and I think that's why his studio, Insomniac, has been involved in so many VR games. Some of this reminds me a little bit of Robinson the Journey a little bit. Let's listen to a little bit of the sound here. I wish it was just sound of the game. No disrespect to... it's just the audio where they're recording it is not the greatest audio.
On shoulder and hip. Hold with 2 hands for advanced firing. Ooh. Give me those weapons. Wow. This looks amazing. Give me that.
Yeah, that is nice.
Oh my god. Oh!
That is going to be awesome.
Weapons can be holstered on your right hip and shoulder.
Wow, that's very nice. Oh, advanced firing.
That's cool.
Okay, this feels amazing. I'm feeling vibration all the way. Lots of
You can do
haptics.
two-handed.
Feels good to fire this weapon. Very good. Oh wow. Ooh,
This is going to need a 1080 Ti. I got to get my 1080 Ti. Oops, I got the volume way too high. Sorry about that. Oh, Population 1. Yeah, you know what? Population 1, it might be able to... I mean, if you're a multiplayer person, see, I'm a single-player guy. So a single-player guy, I'm going to say Stormland. But yeah, no, Population 1, I forgot about that. Yeah, Population 1 enters the mix. And Population 1 is another 2019 release. So we are going to be waiting a minute on Population 1. But let me go ahead and throw that trailer on because that is a good... I mean, this is a beautiful trailer. Like, this looks absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, that looks damn good. I mean, that is that's how you make a trailer. That's how you make a trailer for all the other companies that are out there. If you can make your trailer look this good, you are going to sell copies of this game just off of this trailer alone. That is how beautiful and dialed in this trailer is, with the sound and the music, all of it. It comes together quite well. It all works out really well. Wow, Lethal Weasel. This is the first time he's ever seen this trailer. I was in Hawaii. And I was on Upload VR, and they had a story about Population 1. And I was like, let me check this out. I clicked on it, and I was like, wow, that looks freaking good. I mean, this looks absolutely really good. And this is Big Box VR. The developer is Big Box VR. They're the Smashbox Arena guys. So it's not like this is their first ever VR game. They know what they're doing. They've already made a multiplayer game that really, really, really works in VR. I know Gary loved Smashbox Arena. He did the review on VRGameRankings.com, and he loved that game. And this time they're going after the serious battle royale style game. The thing that's so important about a game like this is the kind of game that could hook my sons, which they don't play VR hardly at all. And the reason they don't play VR is because they're always playing Fortnite or Minecraft or something. They're playing all these like multiplayer games, mostly Fortnite, and they just don't think about VR because the kind of game that they want isn't available in VR, but that's the kind of game that they would like. So yeah, that is a contender. It's absolutely a contender. Okay, let's see. Is there any other little news stories we can get to? We're pretty light on news today. I'll tell you what, I'll talk for a quick second. I tried to play this yesterday. This is The Lost and Forgotten. It's made by one guy, and it's on Steam right now, and he hooked me up with a code for this game. And see, these were the graphics. That's what I wanted to see. Like, that looks absolutely drop dead gorgeous. That looks super cool. I wanted to see that. I could not get it to work on my Oculus Rift. He actually sent me an email and he said, oh, you know what? I know it works for HTC Vive. I don't know if it works on the Oculus Rift. I couldn't get it to work on my Oculus Rift. I only tried it one time. So I'm going to try to go back into it and see if I can get it to work again. But I still think this looks cool, but I did not, unfortunately, get to actually sample it. Let's see. Does this guy have a price on this? The Lost and Forgotten, right? Steam. Yeah, so this is $9 apparently. Yeah, this is $9 and it does work on a Vive, but I don't know that it works on a, there's no user reviews. So I wanted to give you guys my take on this, but was unable to. Wasn't able to get it to work. I will try that again and hopefully report back. One other thing I wanted to get in real quickly here is I saw this Hoover Dam trailer, which this looks pretty interesting. Didn't get a chance to go into this yet, but let's check this trailer out. Hoover Dam in VR, an incredible experience like nothing you've ever seen. Real mega structures. It's actually kind of cool, you know, if you've really been interested in like, how the hell did they make Hoover Dam? Like, here's your answer. Like, this is educational. You know, what if you had to do a story on Hoover Dam? If you had to do a story on Hoover Dam, you'd probably be like, yeah, I'd like to play that. How much is that? That's running on the Unreal Engine. Let me see if I can look this up. Hoover Dam VR. I believe that's on the Oculus store. That might be an Oculus exclusive. Let's see. Hoover Dam VR Oculus. Yeah, so this is $10. So it actually does, this is not free. This is a $10 deal. How does a turbine work? What happens inside towers? How does a generator function? Industrial VR will answer these questions and more. For the first time, you will be able to experience for yourself the inner workings of the Hoover Dam. It does have quite a few 5-star ratings, some 4-star ratings, but one guy 2 days ago says, disappointed. It was the perfect wasted of money, and I just started on this gaming quest. What a review. This guy, Super Attorney, says, worst ways to spend $2. He bought it for $2. This guy, it's going for $9 right now. This guy says you get a nice little educational tour of the Hoover Dam that has a lot of detail in the scale model. You can even zoom into certain parts. But it was only $2, and I was amazed at the quality for the price. Another guy says, keep in mind you'll finish it less than an hour. So interesting, you know, we do need experiences like this. Logan68 says, what if you're a terrorist looking for blueprints? Yeah, I mean, I guess the best thing to do is to not think in those terms. Don't think that way. I mean, we've already got issues, dude. Check this out. You can 3D print a freaking gun, okay? I mean, we've got enough problems as it is. I try not to, let's not think about such thoughts. King Hell says, what will we still need schools? Will we still need schools as places to learn when VR takes over? When VR takes over, not really. I mean, you could have schools. The thing about VR is you could have a teacher that is teaching to one student, but this one student has a million cameras surrounding this one student. And so anybody could be that one student. So just imagine that, because a lot of times, you know, teachers, you're sharing with like 30 other kids and you might not really be focusing on it. I mean, VR and AR is going to revolutionize everything. It's really, the end of humanity is upon us. Just play some Amaze 3D and you'll see what I'm talking about. The end of humanity is upon us. Amaze 3D. Okay, so that was the only stories that I really had, but I'll throw in some miscellaneous trailer. So King Hell, do you know what I'm talking about? Have you played Amaze 3D? Do you know what I'm talking about? The Trump mask and the Hillary mask, you know what I'm talking about? Okay, I need to just put some other trailer on. You know, Evasion is coming relatively early in October, and Astrobot is coming relatively early in October. So we've got a lot of hot stuff that is coming in September this month, but also early in October, we got some heat as well. We are lucky devils if you guys really think about it. Ray Pope says VR is a new form of entertainment. Don't think of it any other way. And Lethal Weasel VR says that's the best damn VR experience I've ever seen. Great pun. Good one. Good play on words with that one. Dams are so exciting, says Chris Gould. And Chris, apologies the other day. I was giving Fluke all the credit for like finding Blind being on the Oculus store, and it was actually you. You guys gotta understand this. When I'm doing this show, I'm trying to think of like 7 or 8 different things at a time, like different trailers I'm going to grab or different stories I'm going to try to talk about, and then I bounce back over to chat and I look at chat, and then I'm doing something else, and then I look at chat. So I get so many things wrong all the time. I get so much stuff wrong. I always see these things in chat later, and I'm like, I wish I could have answered that question. What I need is somebody else that is like sending me messages like, hey, do this question. I need like another person that's working along with me, and that would help things out. This is Evasion in the background, another game that uses the PlayStation aim controller. Speaking of which, I'm going to try to find Firewall Zero Hour either at Target or Best Buy locally today. It is September 1st, and I just wanted to wait until September 1st to buy it. And so I'm going to buy it today, hopefully, if I can find that bundle, or maybe I just have to order it on Amazon. I'll have to figure that out. I'll have to wait like a couple of days if I order it from Amazon. But yeah, so that's cool. So why don't I go ahead and bounce over to Upload VR. Let's see what the latest stories of the day are right now. Okay, so actually this is an interesting topic. They do have this topic on Upload VR right now, and their number one story is VR headsets need to become easier and quicker to use. And this is something that we've talked about on this show. We've talked about friction. Friction is the word of the day. And VR, playing VR games, there's a lot of friction. And a lot of it is like making sure everything is set up right, making your PC dialed in, all these other little things that you got to do. And then to get into the game, and then you're waiting for the game to load. And one thing I do want to say about friction in regards to VR, and this is something that we've got to figure out. At every step of the chain, we've got to figure this out. Waiting around for something to happen in VR is a freaking death sentence to Joe and Sally Walmart. Joe and Sally Walmart think something is broken. They think something isn't working right. The thing that we got to do with our VR experiences is we need to make our VR experiences where bang, 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 it goes from one thing to another thing. There's not waiting around just black empty space or weird glitchy camera, cutting off, sideways movement, like weird glitchiness while you're waiting for something to load up. All of this loading up crap, we've got to figure this out. We've got to solve this puzzle. We need to have VR experiences where when you're in the experience, bang, 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 it's going to each little experience. You're not waiting for all these load times. So it's not just like the wires and the controllers and the tracking, but it's also loading up the experiences. Can you guys think of certain VR games that you hate playing because the loading screens are death? Like, what is the worst loading screens out there for VR? What VR game do you play and you're like, oh yeah, but the freaking loading screens? For me, it was freaking Arizona Sunshine. The Arizona Sunshine loading screens like almost made me not want to play Arizona Sunshine. So, and then on the flip side, can you think of other games where bang, 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 you're right back in the action? Like you might die and then bang, a split second later, you're back into the action. And bang, 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 and you can just keep the experience going. That is the ultimate party game where you can put somebody in the headset, boom, they die, they get to go again. Boom, they die, they get to go again. Now, IPCSK is saying that I need an SSD, and that is true. But even if I really did have an SSD, it doesn't mean that all of these games are just instantly popping up. Mage's Tale. Yeah, Mage's Tale. Doesn't they have a really long loading screens? So it's part of friction. It's just this other part of friction that we don't get into much. And loading screens and waiting time and all of that, that's something that we've lived with in flat gaming from the very beginning. I remember Nintendo, way back in the Nintendo 64 era, Nintendo used to brag, you know, because everybody else went to CD, and Nintendo would say, hey, we're in a cartridge. You pop the cartridge in, you turn it on, bam, you're in the game. It's instant loading. You're not waiting for all these loading screens. Phil Yarn says Beat Saber is fast. Absolutely. In death, bam, you're just right back in it. I think To the Top, boom, you can be right back in it. It's kind of funny, but these games that you, boom, Super Hot, these games that you get right back into the gameplay are some of my favorite games. Do you think there's a connection here? Tom Lloyd is saying SSD will speed game load times significantly. I do need to, yeah, see, AdLink SSD, dirt cheap, pretty good. Yeah, I do need to grab an SS. So Jason H is saying Dreams. Does Dreams have ridiculously long loading times or short loading times? I can't remember which one it was on that game. I did play like London Heist and all of that. I can't remember the loading times. You know, the shark cage and all that. I can't remember how bad the loading times were. Phil Yarn says, I need to find out how to mod Beat Saber. It's pretty easy. There's a couple of different YouTube videos that will basically show you how to do it. Oh, Jason's saying there's zero load. There's no load, and that's why it's so good. Okay, because yeah, I had a lot of fun with PlayStation VR Worlds, and that's a big part of friction. And with the Oculus Go, like if I can find some Oculus Go games where you put that Oculus Go on and it's just bam, 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 and you're never waiting around, that's what I want to demo to somebody else. That's what's good to demo to somebody else. But anyway, folks, we've been going for over an hour here, so I am going to go ahead and bounce out of this. Remember, tomorrow, our episode tomorrow will start 5 to 10 minutes. 5 to 10 minutes after the VR Roundtable live episode. So I believe we're having a VR Roundtable live episode at 9 a.m. Pacific time tomorrow. As far as I know, we are, unless something has been changed. So assuming that that sticks, then this show will begin 5 to 10 minutes upon the conclusion of the VR Roundtable episode. I'll probably go get myself a drink of water or something, come back here, bam, this will be ready to go. So make sure to go to the VR Roundtable YouTube channel tomorrow and then bounce to this one. So that has been the show for today. Absolutely subscribe to the channel, like the videos, tell a buddy, all that good stuff. It really helps in the long run. And I will see everybody next time. So take it easy. Later.